In order to have anything incredible, it takes incredible effort. To have an incredible body in the gym, be ready to put in that level of effort. To have incredible grades, be ready to put in that level of effort. To have an incredible business, be ready to put in incredible levels of work. And a lot of times, people want to skip the process. They don't want to go through the process. Everybody wants to get that six pack until it's time to go to the gym at 5 in the morning. Everybody wants to have that $1 million business until it's time to invest. Everybody wants to get a straight A until it's time to study. Most people quit during the process. And if you're someone who's willing to go through the process, keep showing up day by day and putting that work in, watch how far you're going to go in just a year. Give it a year of you showing up, being consistent, putting that work in, studying, working on whatever it is that you want to achieve. Watch how far it gets you. Get your notebooks out. This is going to be a good one. So, welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time. My name is Lawrence. I'm a youth empowerment speaker. I help teen and young adults improve self love, confidence, and their outlook on life. I'm also an author and I do one on one coaching. You can DM me the word coach breakthrough on Instagram in order to book a session with me. But back to the point. In order for me to go up on these stages and get these awards and do all the cool stuff, there's a lot of boring stuff I have to do a part of the process, such as sending emails. I really, really don't like sending emails. It is so boring, it is dull, it takes so much time. But I can either sit around and complain about it, or I can just say, once it's done, it is done. Once it is done, it is done. You can look at the problem in your life. You can look at the inconvenience. You can look at, man, I want to get the six pack, but I don't feel like going to the gym. Well, the sooner you go, the sooner you'll be done. And if you don't go, you don't get the thing. Man, I don't want to study for this test. Well, the sooner you study for the test, the sooner you can get the straight A. Man, I don't want to have to put my money in a savings account and have to save my way up. I want to just win the lottery and get it overnight. Well, the sooner you start, the sooner you'll be done. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And there is a process that you must go through. It is no way to skip it. Oh, I'm just going to take this weight loss pill and magically wake up tomorrow with a six pack. Okay, well, when you have a heart attack, don't be surprised. Man, I'm just gonna win the lottery. Okay, let's say magically you win the lottery. Now I have $50 million. Okay, well, when you start buying private jets and yachts and Rolls Royces and blow all your money in 2 years, don't be surprised. Because if you would have gone through the process and did the steps and did the work required, you wouldn't have lost it. And that's not to say that it must take really long and it must be a boring process and it must take all this energy, but you have to put the work in regardless. Some people, they go super viral after one YouTube video. Some people, it takes 10. Other people, it takes 100. Me, I'm on my 1,000th YouTube video. I've actually made more than that, but it's a lot of videos I put out. And I could say, man, it's taking too long. It's not working. I should just give up. Or I can just stop complaining about it and keep doing the work, which is what I'm doing. And it might suck. It might suck during the process. It might suck when you have to study for really long hours. It might suck when you have to change your diet. It might suck when you have to go to the gym or stay up working on your business, or you don't go out with your friends at night, or you can't be partying and playing video games all the time. It might suck, but the pain of regret is a lot worse than the pain of doing the thing that you need to do. Oh my god, that was so good. The pain of regret is so much worse than the pain of doing the thing you need to do. Because fast forward 10 years from now, you're sitting on your couch and you're like, man, if I would have just went to the gym 10 years ago, I would be in the best shape of my life. The pain of regret is so much worse than the pain of not of going to the gym. The pain of regret is so much worse than the pain of going to the gym. Fast forward 10 years and you're sitting back and you're working at McDonald's or something. No, I'm not talking down at McDonald's, by the way. I used to work there. But 10 years fast forward, you're working at McDonald's and you're like, man, if I would have just studied for that test, I could have probably went to Harvard and became a neuroscientist or started a business or got a really high paying job or whatever. The pain of regret is so much worse than the pain of studying. Man, if I would have just worked on my business, I would have been so successful and my life would have turned out so different. I could have retired my mom. I could have got me a house. I could be traveling the world. The pain of sending these emails is so much less than the pain of regret. I said it backward that time, but you gotta get the point. The pain of regret is so much worse than the pain of me having to send these emails. And regardless of whether or not it works today, I know it will work. And you have to have faith that throughout the process, it will work. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, maybe not even in a year. But mathematically, it's guaranteed that if you just keep showing up, doing what you need to do to get the goal that you want to get, it will happen at some point, somehow, some way. And as you continue moving forward, you get better at it. This YouTube video is so much better than my first YouTube video. Simply because I went through the process. Simply because I went through the process of learning how to speak clearly, learning how to better articulate my words, learning how to focus better, learning how to clearly transfer the idea I have up here and into this camera. Learning how to get better at thumbnails and how to put captions and all these things. The process is what separates the I wish I had that thing to having it. The man I really wanted to I have it. The process is what separates the people who are in group A from group B. Because everybody wants to be successful. You know, at least the people who watch my content. Everybody here wants to be successful in something. Maybe you want to be successful in your grades and academically. Maybe you want to be successful in the gym. Maybe you want to be a successful business owner or a motivational speaker, or it could just be as simple as you want to have a successful relationship. You want to get that guy or girl that you like. Maybe that simple. But regardless, you want to be successful in something. And in order to succeed, you have to simply not give up. But there is a phrase that winners never quit and quitters never win. However, I will clarify this. Winners quit doing what stops them from winning. Winners quit doing what stops them from winning. Right now, think to yourself, what the goal I want? I want to become a good boyfriend. I want to have a girlfriend. I want a car. I want to have straight A's. I want to run my own business. Okay. This is the win. This is what I want. What is everything that I could do that would stop me from getting that? What is everything I'm currently doing that would stop me from getting what I want? Quit doing that. Okay, I want to have a six pack. I want to have really good shape. I want to be super muscular. I want a thin waist, whatever your goal is. Okay, what do I need to quit doing in order for me to get the thing I want? I need to stop eating an entire pint of ice cream every day. I need to stop going to McDonald's. I need to stop drinking soda. I need to stop doing these things. Okay, a winner knows what to quit. Winners quit doing what stopped them from winning. And you learn that through the process because during the process, you will notice things like, every day I come home and until I take a shower, my time is just being wasted. That's something I've noticed personally about myself. Every time I come home, until I take a shower or until I journal, it's just wasted time. So, what I've started doing is as soon as possible, when I come home, I journal or I take a shower or I do the dishes. And then that now is me quitting doing what stops me from winning. Winners quit doing what stops them from winning. But quitters never quit doing what stops them from winning. Quitters spend a lot of time procrastinating, worrying about, man, it's going to be so hard. I should just give up. It's uncomfortable. Quitters do that. But winners say, okay, this might be uncomfortable. It might suck. There will be days when you don't want to study. There will be days when you don't want to go to the gym. There will be days when you don't want to do what you need to do to get what you want. And in those moments, you have to say to yourself, okay, it sucks. I don't feel like it. But just because I don't feel like it means that I don't have to act like how I feel. Let me clarify that. Just because I don't feel like doing what I need to do doesn't mean that I don't do what I need to do. There's exception to this, of course. Like if you just had a major tragedy in life, okay, you don't need to go to the gym. Like, okay, you could take a day off. You just had a major tragedy in life. I'm not saying you have to be black and white. I just want to be clear about that. I'm saying that just because this morning I woke up and I was in a bad mood doesn't mean that I don't record this YouTube video, doesn't mean that I don't send out the emails, doesn't mean that I don't go to the gym. Might not feel like it, but just because I don't feel like doing what I need to do doesn't mean I don't do what I need to do. And the more you remind yourself of that, the easier it will be to go through the process. Because people often think that it's just going to be A to Z. No, there's going to be times you're going to go from A, B, C, then you're going to go back to A, and then you're going to go from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you're going to go to L, and then you're just going to go all over the place. But throughout the process, you're learning. And eventually, you figure out the alphabet. And after that, you get into your numbers. And I'm not sure where I was going with that point. But what I'm getting at is you just have to learn each day. You just have to take one step forward each day. Some days you'll wake up in such an incredible, motivated, excited mood, and you'll get done a month worth of things in a day. There are going to be other days when the only thing you'll get done is you wrote a page of your book. It could be that. Or you studied for one thing, or you worked on your math test, or you did your homework. It could be that. There are going to be days when you'll get a lot done. There'll be days when you'll only get a little bit done. And you have to learn that throughout the process, it's a process. It's not just you one thing and then it's all done. No, it is a process. And just how you would take a sword. To get a sword, you have to dig up the iron ore and the metal, and you have to put it in this giant oven, and it's super hot, and you melt it down, you take it out, and you hammer it, and you put it back in, and you dip it in water, and then you pull it back out, and then you hammer it, and then you grind it down, and you hit it on an anvil, and then you have to melt it back down, and then heat it back up, and then do this over and over and over and over and over again. And eventually, at the end, you have a sword. But you could say that, oh, I'm just going to dig up the metal. I'm not going to melt it down. I'm not going to grind it. I'm not going to hammer it. I'm just going to use that. You have a rock, but you're trying to make a sword. You have to go through the process, and there's no skipping it. It will be uncomfortable at times, it will be stressful at times, it will be inconvenient at times. But if you just say, hey, this is the process. On the other side of the pain that we avoid is the life that we want. On the other side of the inconveniences and the stress that we avoid is everything we want. You want to get a six pack, but I don't want to go to the gym. You want to get straight A's, but I don't want to study. You want to have a successful business, but I don't want to have to do all the work and have to do all this paperwork and send out emails and on the other side of all the pain that you avoid is the life you want. So every time you avoid doing what you need to do because you don't feel like it, remind yourself that On the other side of this pain that I am avoiding is everything I want. On the other side of the pain you avoid is your dream life. And when you get really clear on what that dream life is, what it feels like, what a day in the life of that version of you is, you know what you're sacrificing. You know that if you, for me, I want to retire my mom so that she doesn't ever have to work. I want to pay off the house's mortgage. I want to be able to provide for my siblings and my family. I want to eventually have a wife and some kids. And, it is going to be like one of them beautiful love stories. I want to travel the country. I want to have my own apartment. I want all these things. And I want the feeling of never having to worry about the price of anything. I want my mom to never have to worry about bills ever again. I want my siblings to know that if there's ever anything they need, just call Lawrence. If they ever need some advice or support, just call Lawrence. I want my family to know that I'm here for them. I want them to know that they have no worries. That's the life I want. So every time when I say to myself, like, I don't feel like sending these emails out, I close my eyes and I remind myself, Lawrence, on the other side of sending these emails is your mom never having to work. On the other side of sending these emails is everything you want. On the other side of sending these emails is getting that apartment you want. On the other side of sending these emails is traveling the country. On the other side of the pain that I don't feel like doing is everything I want. And then I go do the thing. Because now I'm reminding myself what I'm sacrificing. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to go through? The reason why, when you see somebody who has achieved a really good body in the gym, like a really muscular or whatever, you know they had to go through a process to get that. When you see somebody who has a successful business, you know they had to go through a process to get that. When you see somebody who has achieved anything like successful in life, they got a medical degree from Harvard, for example. There was a process they had to go through to get that. They had to invest time, they had to invest money, they had to learn, they had to work on themselves. They had to keep showing up. And on the other side of all the pain and issue that we avoid is everything we want. So the message of this video is plain and simple. You must be willing to go through the process. You can't try to shortcut it. You can't try to say, oh, I'm only going to put in a little bit. Okay, you're going to get a little bit of results. Oh, I just want to show up one time a week. Okay, you're gonna get beat by the person who shows up 5. Oh, I don't feel like doing it today. Okay, just because you don't feel like it doesn't mean that you don't do what you need to do in order to get what you want. There's exceptions, of course, like if you're in the hospital or something. I just want to make sure y'all know I'm not black and white in my thinking. I understand there are nuances, but assuming that you are not medically, physically, psychologically, or whatever incapable of doing what you need to do, just because you don't feel like it doesn't mean that you don't do it. You have to go through the process. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you follow me on my social medias. And if you're a podcast or school principal or run a youth organization, you can contact me at lawrence@lawrenceharris.com and make sure that you go out there, work on yourself, be the best version of yourself. Have a great day. I love you. Make sure you love yourself too.